Good afternoon. I'm Betty Vanden Bosch, President of Kaplan University. Welcome to each of you, both here at the Rosemont Theatre near Chicago and from wherever you're watching, to our 2016 commencement. I think we're all standing, but if not, please rise for the posting of colors, the national anthem, and the retiring of colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. And join me, well, you've already started, join me in recognizing the members of today's Color Guard. From Hubbard High School's Junior ROTC program, you make all of Chicago proud. And thanks, too, to our vocalist, Letitia Simmons. Wasn't she great? Letitia is graduating today with an associate's in medical assisting. We're currently broadcasting this graduation online for several thousand graduates and their guests who are sharing in this happy occasion from across the United States and around the world. Welcome and thank you, graduates and your families, alumni, Kaplan employees and faculty, for participating virtually today. So whether you're here with us in the theater or watching from at home, you can join in celebrating by sending a congratulatory text message for everybody to see right back here. And when tweeting, make sure you include the hashtag #KaplanU. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce the members of our Board of Trustees sitting behind me. I'd also like to recognize our distinguished faculty. The dedicated members of our university administration and the many Kaplan employees who are volunteering to support today's celebration as graduation ambassadors. So now I'm going to go out on a limb. I think that while all of you are amazing, as graduates, you did not get to this momentous day on your own. You turned to and leaned on family and friends for encouragement, for support, for everything you needed throughout your journey at Kaplan University. Let's give our family and friends a big round of applause. We are very proud that the Kaplan University student body includes over 9,500 military-affiliated service members, veterans, and family members serving around the globe. Would each of you in the audience who's an active service member or a veteran please stand? Thank you so much for your service to our great country. Many of our graduates, of course, couldn't make it this afternoon. We have over 12,500 graduates in our 2015-2016 graduating class. And that includes our active duty service members who are deployed, serving and protecting our country, as well as their spouses who are keeping the home fires burning. Earlier this month, we celebrated one such graduate, Francesca Cruz. She was on board the USS Midway, an aircraft carrier permanently moored in San Diego. She'd like to share a few words with all of you.
My name is Francesca Cruz, and I'm married to Louis Cruz, a CB in the United States Navy who is currently deployed. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank both service members and their families for your sacrifice, your service, and to acknowledge your commitment to pursue higher education. I completely understand how challenging it can be to balance multiple responsibilities, which is why I wanted to recognize your dedication as well as the completion of your degree programs. I wish I was there. My husband's currently deployed, so I'm here in San Diego. I am pleased to be a member of the 2016 graduating class and sincerely want to wish you all the very best. Congratulations and go Navy!
Let me now acknowledge all of you who have traveled from near and far to make it here today. There are several of you who embarked on very long journeys from outside the United States to be with us. Some of your fellow graduates earned some serious frequent flyer miles, let me tell you. We have graduates today from Macedonia in Greece, from Angola in southwestern Africa, and from the island of Guam in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. One of our graduates made his way here from Pune, India. Now, according to Google Maps, that's 8,094 miles away, give or take a mile. Isn't that tremendous? Of course, graduating from university is one of the most important milestones of your life. And I know it wasn't easy. Long nights studying, many, many sacrifices, trying to juggle all your competing responsibilities, your family, your work, your life. And you've got to make ends meet, and you've got to make schedules work. Today, you're crossing the finish line. You're beginning the next stage of your life's journey. And many of you have already made great progress. Consider Andrea Magyar from Holtzville, New York. Oh, somebody knows her. She's receiving her bachelor's degree in nursing today. A 4.0 student. Completed her studies this past January, and she was subsequently offered and accepted her dream job, working as an RN at a state research hospital. According to Andrea, and this is a direct quote, "My life has changed. I have more time for my family and a way better job than before." And what about Daryl Weiss from Kentucky? She was working 80 hours a week, managing the housekeeping department at a hotel. She wanted a change and a better life for her young son. Daryl earned her associate's in legal studies from KU in 2014, and that enabled her to switch careers. She joined a local law firm where she was promoted before striking out on her own as a freelance paralegal. Today, Daryl is earning her bachelor's in legal studies and is scheduled to start law school, the Concord Law School of Kaplan University, in August. And you know, Daryl is planning something else as well, the birth of her daughter. Graduates, you have such inspiring stories to share, but we have a schedule to keep. So it's my distinct honor to introduce our commencement speaker. Dr. Peter Smith has been a leading authority on innovation in higher education for over 40 years. Founder and president of 3 colleges, the Community College of Vermont, California State University, Monterey Bay, and Kaplan University's Open College. Dr. Smith has also served as Dean of the Graduate School of Education at George Washington University and as the Assistant Director General for Education at UNESCO. Dr. Smith's focus throughout his career has been on adult learners, work readiness, new service models, and new ways to recognize learning wherever and whenever it has occurred. He's also found time, I don't know how he found time, but he's found time to write dozens of articles and 3 books, Your Hidden Credentials, The Quiet Crisis, and Harnessing America's Wasted Talent. Dr. Smith, here, I'm telling you, this guy has done a lot. Dr. Smith served in the Vermont State Senate and as Vermont's Lieutenant Governor before being elected to the United States Congress in 1989. He earned a Bachelor of Arts in History from Princeton University and a Master's of Arts in Teaching and a Doctor of Education from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. I met Peter in 2008 when I was interviewing with Kaplan University. And the depth of my discussion with him on the importance and challenge of adult learning convinced me that KU was an incredible institution that I wanted to be a part of. I will be forever in his debt for that. So graduates, colleagues, and friends, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Peter Smith.
Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you why I appreciate an introduction like that. It's largely true, I guess, but when I left the Congress, and that's what you say when you get beat, And it's a little bit like you're attending your own wake, because you still got to work in November, December, and January while, the guy or gal who beat you is high-stepping around having a good time. So I was at a Kiwanis Club meeting in Middlebury, Vermont, and a fellow introducing me was somebody I'd known since, you may have had an experience like this, since kindergarten, and he really didn't like me, and I really didn't like him. And he had never supported me, and he was absolutely thrilled I was leaving the Congress. So he pulls out my resume, and he reads it word for word, and then he folds it up, and he looks out at the audience and at me, a little grin on his face, and he says, "It gives me great pleasure to introduce Congressman Peter Smith, a man with a great future behind him." So I always appreciate it when somebody like Betty treats me well. We're here to reflect a little and think ahead a little and celebrate a lot. And we're going to get to the celebrating part a little later on. But I want to acknowledge part of that process is personal, and I'm going to leave that part to you and your friends and your family. But part of it is public, and part of it involves how your role and your responsibilities to the world around you, to your friends, to your family, to your community, to your co-workers. That's what I want to talk with you today, because with the passage of today and you're crossing the finish line, your responsibilities grow and the impact you can have on the people in the communities around you grows enormously. And there's a couple of things I'd like to just talk to you about briefly and ask you to think about. First of all, understand the incredible role that the promise of opportunity, and I'm not arguing for a minute that America gets it right every day. We all know we've got miles to go. But the promise of opportunity, the idea that you can aspire to be more, that you can pull your way through challenges to great success, that is one of the great values of this country. There are great things about the country, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, and I think of that as the skin and the bones. And opportunity really is like the blood running through our veins. It is that thing which calls us forward even when times are tough. But the beating heart of opportunity, the beating heart is education. It is the pathway to the future. It is the way that we change ourselves. It is the way that we seize the moment. And you have done it, and done it proudly. Here we are today. And I urge you to keep that door open. Keep it open for others. Figure out how you're going to do it. We may all do it a little differently. But don't ever let the door to opportunity close. This country is what it is, because we don't say you have to stand in line to get to the table of opportunity. Someone has to die, then you get their chair, or you knock them down. No, this country says if you're willing to work, and you're willing to take the risks, and you're willing to overcome the obstacles that face you, there is a place at that table of opportunity for everybody who's willing to do the work. And so, I would say, pass it forward, keep that door open for others, because that's what makes this country great. And the other thing I want to just briefly share with you is ask you to find a balance between two core values. Think of the last sentence in the Pledge of Allegiance, with liberty and justice for all. Liberty, I'm a free man. I can do what I want. Nobody tells me what to do. Justice, a cross-cutting value. And these two ebb and flow throughout our history, and they are in some ways compatible and in conflict. And we need to think about what's the right balance between the good of the all and the rights of the individual. Where should the line be drawn on gun ownership? Where does the need for secure communities outweigh the right to own an AK-47? Or when do individuals have the right to be protected by the law given their sexual orientation, their religion, or their race? These are compelling and important questions. They live forever, and we keep them right by paying attention to this struggle. Now, I have my opinion on all these issues, and you may get a little drift of it, but I'm not worried about telling you my opinion. I ask that you form your own. Recognize your opinions. Live by them. If you see new information that changes your mind, be open to that. That's what it means to be a responsible, impactful member of the American society, and that is a responsibility we all have. Now, one thing President Vanden Bosch didn't tell you about my background is that I was a cheerleader in college. And we're going to do a little celebrating here, and you're going to help. And I think there's going to be 3 cheers, and you're going to help me. And we're going to get this show on the road. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Job well done. Congratulations.
Isn't Peter great? And now, our graduates. We are so proud to recognize the graduates who have earned academic honors by achieving high cumulative grade point averages in an associate's or bachelor's program. Will the graduates who earned cum laude honors please rise? They're wearing a white cord to recognize their achievement. Will the graduates who earned magna cum laude honors please rise? They're wearing silver cords. And now, the graduates who earned summa cum laude honors. Gold cords. And now let's give special recognition to the graduates who have demonstrated exemplary ability and discipline by earning perfect scores in all their courses at the university. They are wearing medallions to recognize their achievement. Will you please stand? Well, it's time for the main event. Everybody stand up. Candidates, family members and guests, I'm pleased to present to you the candidates for graduation. They have been approved by the faculty for doctoral, master's, bachelor's, associate's, or certificate, and their names appear on the official list of candidates. Congratulations. Candidates, please be seated. Vice President and Dean of the School of Business and Information Technology, Tom Boyd, will introduce the candidates on your left. Vice President and Dean of the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, Sarah Sander, will introduce the candidates on your right. Dr. David Starnes, KU's Chief Academic Officer, will be assisting me with handing out our diplomas. Candidates, please remain seated until it's time for... Nobody ever listens to me. Candidates, please remain seated until it's time for your row, that was their turn, to cross the stage. After passing through the stage, please return to your seat until your degree is formally conferred. And while we're waiting for everybody to get organized, I'd like to tell you a little bit about academic regalia. American universities have adopted a very standard set of academic regalia. The design of the gown, the color of the tassel, the pattern, the length, everything means something. For example, 3 stripes, like I wear, that's a doctoral degree. A hood, like I also wear, That's a graduate degree. The side of the cap on which the tassel hangs, right, you're not there yet, you haven't got another degree. Left, you already have another degree. And that's it. And now we're going to confer the degrees.
Megan Garner, Juris Doctor, Concord Law School.
Jesse Short, Juris Doctor, Concord Law School.
Kevin Levon Warmack, Executive Juris Doctor, Concord Law School. U.S. Army Sergeant First Class, Dwayne Eddie Hickman Sr., Executive Juris Doctor, Concord Law School.
Olga Frolova, Juris Doctor, Concord Law School.
Melody Chase, Master of Science in Nursing.
Franklin Patterson, Executive Juris Doctor, Concord Law School.
Shakirat Bankole, Master of Science in Nursing.
Tanya Avery, Doctor of Nursing Practice.
Mary Baker, Master of Science in Nursing. Josie Adams, Master of Science in Nursing.
Indiris Sam Berry, Master of Science in Nursing.
Catherine Ann Cass, Master of Science in Nursing.
Jessica Louise Bollock, Master of Science in Nursing.
Monica Capote, Master of Science in Nursing.
Rachel Askew, Master of Science in Nursing.
Brittany Brennan, Master of Science in Nursing.
Carrie Chauvin, Master of Science in Nursing.
Cyan Graham, Master of Science in Nursing.
Raynette Charles, Master of Science in Nursing.
Linda Frazier, Master of Science in Nursing.
Angela Carter, Master of Science in Nursing.
Samantha Fischbach, Master of Science in Nursing.
U.S. Navy Hospital Corpsman Enrique Burgos, Master of Science in Nursing.
Kimberly Dennis, Master of Science in Nursing.
Jennifer Bodar, Master of Science in Nursing.
Miranda Daly, Master of Science in Nursing.
Andrea Fuller Williams, Master of Science in Nursing.
Natalie Iverson, Master of Science in Nursing.
Maud Forville, Master of Science in Nursing.
Jacqueline Kennedy, Master of Science in Nursing.
Christy Dygart, Master of Science in Nursing.
Tammy McNair, Master of Science in Nursing.
Alicia Darby Bishop, Master of Science in Nursing.
Carol Mitchell, Master of Science in Nursing.
Jennifer Holm, Master of Science in Nursing.
Shanika Rice, Master of Science in Nursing.
Aram Jiva, Master of Science in Nursing.
Yombi Tapono, Master of Science in Nursing.
Brandy Lomo, Master of Science in Nursing.
Cheryl O'Connell, Master of Science in Nursing.
Arisa Miller Mullins, Master of Science in Nursing.
Sarah Pallerini, Master of Science in Nursing.
Flavia Morea, Master of Science in Nursing.
Gladys Torres, Master of Science in Nursing.
Sukjot Kaur, Master of Science in Nursing.
Angela Moreno Rios Serrano, Master of Science in Nursing.
Nadine Parrish, Master of Science in Nursing.
Lazara Sanchez, Master of Science in Nursing.
April Phillips, Master of Science in Nursing.
Joy C. Watson, Master of Science in Nursing.
Jacqueline Stakoviak, Master of Science in Nursing.
Monitria Shania Williams, Master of Science in Nursing.
Nangnuk Taragitigo, Master of Science in Nursing.
Idorinyan Udosin, Master of Science in Nursing.
Ijira Uzoma, Master of Science in Nursing.
Israel Ulubiyu, Master of Science in Nursing.
Candace Williams, Master of Science in Nursing.
Holly Amatangelo, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Patrick Adams, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Marissa Barrett, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Prentice D. Barker Sr., Masters of Arts in Teaching.
Tori Brignolo, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Nancy Bonney, Master of Science in Higher Education.
U.S. Navy Petty Officer, 3rd Class, Delarin Carter, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Keisha Buds, Master of Science in Higher Education.
From Guam, U.S. Army Sergeant, 1st Class, George Flores Diaz. Master of Science in Higher Education.
Shanitha Culbertson, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Dana Flowers, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Alfonso Dunstan, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Aisha Griffin, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Kayla Garcia, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Desiree Joseph Elwin, Master of Science in Education in Instructional Technology.
Diane Beck Hemphill, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Phyllis Lee, Master of Science in Higher Education. Gregory Martin, Master of Arts in Teaching, and his sister, Tasha Martin, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Veronica Lambert Stevens, Master of Science in Education.
Shanette McBride, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Gerald Magbulis, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Munia Morshid, Master of Science in Educational Psychology.
Ali Malik, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Jasmine Denise Riley, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Miss Kristen Elaine Myers-Young, Master of Science in Higher Education.
LaMonica Skinner, Master of Science in Educational Psychology.
Christina Marie Schuyler, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Chrissy Amelia Taylor, Master of Science in Educational Psychology.
Tabitha Solons, Master of Science in Education.
Venus Gomes, Master of Educational Psychology.
Nefereti McElrath in memoriam of your grandmother, D. Jefferson, Master of Science in Education and Instructional Technology.
Jocelyn Vargas, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Taisha Triplett, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Elizabeth Cervantes Guerrero, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Anita Walker, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Rakisha Walker, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Raymonda Ward, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Tara Weiss, Master of Science in Education.
Olinga Yarber Alexander, Master of Science in Higher Education.
Latre Wilson, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Zubra Zagros, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Shanita Moody, Master of Arts in Teaching.
Peter Bryant, Master of Science in Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Lisa Lee Acevedo, Master of Public Administration.
Shamika Dancy, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
U.S. Army Sergeant Edward R. Albanowski, Jr., Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Sarah Dooley, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Dina Bechtel, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Bernard Evans, Jr., Master of Public Administration.
Marlene Clark, Master of Science in Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Cara Farrington, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Karani Dawson, Master of Public Administration.
Takesha Ford, Master of Public Administration.
Michelle Flav Lefebvre, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Liliana Godfrey, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Curtis Fox, Master of Public Administration.
Shamika Graves, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
U.S. Air Force retired Brian Hugh Garrett, Master of Public Administration.
Brittany Jones, Master of Public Administration.
DeAndrea Grant, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Ty Erica Nevels, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Carolyn Anita Hayes, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
U.S. Army Major Terry Rabun, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Doreen Lewis, Master of Public Administration.
Dennis Lee Richardson, Jr., Master of Science in Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Zachary Powell, Master of Science in Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Virginia Snell Smith, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Tanea Reed, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Shantice Thomas, Master of Public Administration.
U.S. Marine Sergeant Eric Romero, Master of Public Administration.
You want to feel that way, but it's like a clown car, you know?
Tammy Annette Williams, Master in Criminal Justice.
Devora C., Master of Public Administration.
Gerard Ziegler, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Marshawn Tatman, Master of Public Administration.
Marta Cuevas, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Mashari Kalila Whitfield, Master of Public Administration.
Tamisha Hill, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Thank you, guys. U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Catherine Williams, Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Ashley Lamb, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Melissa Wilson Stockwell, Master of Public Administration.
Tia Lesion, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Camille Florence, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Irina Mezroboski, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Margaret Keys, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Richard T. Parmley Sr., Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Lanicia Mayberry, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Aisha Reed, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Marvina Miller, Master of Science in Environmental Policy.
Cassandra Robinson, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
William Ramsack, Master of Science in Environmental Policy.
Damien Cladiba, Master of Science in Health Education.
Tanika Smith Brown, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Tammy Bodiheimer, Master of Science in Psychology.
Billy Janelle William, Master of Science in Legal Studies.
Courtney Brooks, Master of Science in Psychology.
Patricia Barnett, Master of Science in Psychology.
Tiffany Dargenson, Master of Science in Psychology.
LaShawn Bradley, Master of Science in Psychology.
U.S. Navy Petty Officer, Second Class, Marilyn Davis, Master of Science in Psychology.
Suzette Coles, Master of Science in Psychology.
Warren Gassaway, Master of Science in Psychology.
Tiffany Cook, Master of Science in Psychology.
Teresa Marie Heyer, Master of Science in Psychology.
Christina Dominguez, Master of Science in Psychology.
Pamela Hobson-Jones, Master of Science in Psychology.
Shantisha Farmer, Master of Science in Psychology.
Wait,
Wait, Lisa.
it's Leisha? Laisha Howard, Master of Science in Psychology.
Nashawn Gouldsby Davidson, Master of Science in Psychology.
Sebastian Ediong, Master of Science in Psychology.
Eloisa Gopez, Master of Science in Psychology.
Londa Wiggins, Master of Science in Psychology.
Carolyn Denise Hilburn, Master of Science in Psychology.
U.S. Army Sergeant Lornisha Moore, Master of Science in Psychology.
Aaron Hill, Master of Science in Psychology.
Marilyn Raphael, Master of Science in Psychology.
Wendelin Janowski, Master of Science in Psychology.
Catherine Shepard, Master of Science in Psychology.
Willie Mae Kirkendall, Master of Science in Psychology.
Jerron Trotman, Masters of Science in Psychology.
Makita Laban, Master of Science in Psychology.
Bertice Bahrum, Master of Science in Psychology.
Lanny March, Master of Science in Psychology.
Clarissa Wilkinson, Masters of Science in Psychology.
Okay, I'll just hold it. Yep, I'll keep it. Stephanie Marin, Master of Science in Psychology.
Rosalind Joseph, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Latasha Roberts, Master of Science in Health Education.
Tiffany Anderson, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Cheryl Martinez, Master of Science in Psychology.
Erin Bown, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Nicole Mertis, Master of Science in Psychology.
Maria Cielito Castillo, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Lander Mitchell, Master of Science in Psychology.
Eunice Cromwell, Bachelors of Science in Nursing.
Diana Thies Ofina, Master of Science in Psychology.
Andes DeCibolo, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Amanda Nicole Ray, Master of Science in Psychology.
Autumn Fernandez, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Marina Souza, Master of Science in Psychology.
Irina Ginescu, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Maria Aylin Yurita Holmes, Master of Science in Psychology.
Tian Grievous, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Christopher Winters, Master of Science in Psychology.
Crystal Henry, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Latanya Walker, Master of Science in Psychology.
Angela Hooner Davis, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Patrice Woods, Master of Science in Psychology.
Lashanta Joyner, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Antonia Arinze, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Marie Stephanie Labid, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Tanya Williams, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Lawana Larkins, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Kadian Bailey, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Andrea Magiera, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Harpreet Baines here, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Anastasia Dunda, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Shavai Chumway, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Alexis Prempe, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Diana Dashner, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Anna Somsel, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Cheryl Dixon, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Erica Scheibly, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Coy Freeman, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
April Stile, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Jennifer Justo, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Charlene Thampy, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Shika Gupta, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Jacinta Wolf, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Eza. Ijoma Eza, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Morgan Zimmerman, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Christopher Horacek, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Latoya Monique Brooks, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Renita J. Irving, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Rosa Brown, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
U.S. Army Angelica Corrine Gordon, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Shalay Fitzpatrick, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Shannon McCallie, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Tara Bay Harris, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Laverne Mitchell, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Angela Hunt, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Savitri Prashad, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Virginia Kropp, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Ikersha Rollins, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Carrie Lewis, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Doris Bernadette Rivera, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Cayman Marinoff, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Mariama Ibi Sanko, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Kimberly McLaughlin, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Loisanne Stephen, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Mandy Mitchell, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Yolanda Strong, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Tawanda Owens, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Sarah Tapanilla, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Rochelle Richardson, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice Administration and Management.
Tracy Lynn Schutte, Bachelor of Science in Nusi.
U.S. Army Private First Class Jennifer Trammell, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Casey Hardy, Associate of Science in Nursing.
Jenny Romero, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Tamika Lee, Associate of Science in Nursing.
Jonathan Jacoby Walker, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Tequila Shalise Martin, Associate of Science in Nursing.
Margaret White, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Sheila Chapin, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Michelle Birch, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
Verena Charles, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Tracy Flemister, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
U.S. Army retired Joe Dubose, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Rosanna Hashimoto, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
Latonia Grimm, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Renee Cobbs, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
Nancy Laflamme, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Tanisha Lugas, Associate of Applied Science in Fire Science.
Marcia Renee Mack, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Raquel Almeida, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Michael W. Martinez, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Megan Bernard, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
Teresa McStanislav Cujo, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Rebecca Carpenter, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
U.S. Army Infantry Combat Veteran Michael Pugh, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Ina Emery, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Kenesha Simmons, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Timothy Frater, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Policy and Management.
Joy Danielle Taylor, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Heather Fuller, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Laura Vogel, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
U.S. Navy Seaman James Harrington, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
U.S. Army Officer Candidate Christopher Weeks Barnett, Bachelor of Science in International and Comparative Criminal Justice.
Alicia Y. Hines, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Lakeisha Andrews, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
U.S. Air Force Senior Airman Helen Louise Kimbrough, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
Brianna Carr, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
Zayada Marakovic, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
Michelle Hanlon, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
Rhonda Perkins, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Linda Hodge, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
Kimberly Lynn Richards, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
U.S. Marine Staff Sergeant Edgar Rubalcaba, Bachelor of Science in Fire and Emergency Management.
Ashley Monique Russell, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Natasha Valdivia, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Daryl Weiss, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Brittany Balderston, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Stephanie Camille Farrell, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
Sonia Ann Campbell McGarry, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Marcia Houston, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
Jennifer Nichelle Chilton, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
U.S. Army Specialist Amy Kamwidi, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
Laura Deach, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Jacqueline Perkins, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
Jeanette Fisher, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Brianna Thomas, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
Kathleen Owens, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
Sarah Jen Butler, Pathway to Paralegal Post-Baccalaureate Certificate.
Lorraine Hargrave, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies. Hetty Henry, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
Olivia Kelly, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
Nancy Howard, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Colleen Finn, Bachelor of Science in Fire and Emergency Management.
Amber Looker, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
Jeff Kimmel, Bachelor of Science in Fire Science.
Matthew Nagel, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Tony Arce, Bachelor of Science in Fire and Emergency Management.
U.S. Navy Logistics Specialist, Second Class, Mary B. Phillip, Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies.
Cynthia Torres, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
U.S. Army Corporal Mark Romero, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Policy and Management.
Kelsey Rivera, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
Alicia Townsend, Bachelor of Science in Legal Studies.
Allison Sandora, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Hope Brock, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
Takia Butler, Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice.
Erica Natalie Hernandez, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
U.S. Air Force Sergeant Lois Michelle Cheeseborough Pegg, Bachelor of Science in Fire and Emergency Management.
U.S. Air Force Combat Veteran Carla Chapman, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
U.S. Army Sergeant Krishan Peeler, Bachelor of Science in Fire and Emergency Management.
Lauren Kilborn, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
Catherine Abel, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Kimberly Mount, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
Lacey Carey, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Linda Michelle Overstreet, Associate of Applied Science in Paralegal Studies.
Autumn Corkland Greenlaw, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Tony Halawati, Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Ruth Fackler, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Sarah Barker, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Sarah Favilla, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Jennifer Beatty, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Belinda Howard Rogers, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Rhea D. Fair, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
China Hunter, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Linda Harris, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Bobby Jean Angel Jones, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Joanne Henry, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Adrianese Kemp, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Lindsay Hughes, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Heather Kurtz, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Vanessa Ibanez, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Tiffany Lettingham, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
U.S. Marine Corporal Brittany Ann Kiter, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Tina Martin, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Monica Marie King, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
U.S. Army Corporal Marcella Morgan, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Patricia Landstrom, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Pamela Nikodem, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Jennifer Lovejoy, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Janet Richardson, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Teresa Marstrell, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Vonda Roll, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Clarissa Moman, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Lawan Schubert, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Anna Mrose, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Aaron Span, Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Joey
Nonkululeko Makosi, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Joey Taylor, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Kristen Preston, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Amber Bailey, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Olga D. Lane Richardson, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Chastity Amanda Batty, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Brianne Rubison, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Robin Billingsley, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Michelle Spence, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Miss Tiffany Boylan, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Juanita Swan, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Sheldon Capers, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Anna Stahosky, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Marissa Cochran, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Evelyn Varela, Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Lynn Constantinopouli, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Michelle L. Bell, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Danita Dale, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Janine Boudry, Bachelor of Science in Communication.
Julieta Flores, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Melissa Brown, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Michelle Guess, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
U.S. Navy Aviation Storekeeper Petty Officer Jackie Lou Kamba, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
U.S. Navy Petty Officer Second Class Tishana Hamilton, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Crystal Carter, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Simone Hegwood, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Brianna Collins, Bachelor of Science in Communication.
Holly Holly, Bachelor of Science in Liberal Studies.
U.S. Army Derek Prince Conley, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Fiona Jackson, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Kristen Curry, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
U.S. Marine Corporal Tiffany Johnson, Bachelor of Science in Liberal Studies.
U.S. Navy Boatswain's Mate Petty Officer Second Class Kaniqua Davis, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Brittany Cottrell, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Renee U. Garner, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Jessica Crom, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Jackie Hacker, Bachelor of Science in Communication.
Letitia McGee, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Janice Hamlin, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Guadalupe Manrique, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
LaShawn J. Harness, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Paul Pedrano, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Carrie Hemmer, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Donna Murillo, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Nyasha Hicks, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Java Perrin, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
U.S. Coast Guard Petty Officer Third Class Chad Genuine, Bachelor of Science in Liberal Studies.
Patsy Pettis, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Amanda Klosky, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Angela Debbie Paleo, Bachelor of Science in Communication.
Ernestine Maxfield, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Sally Retzer, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Jennifer McDaniel, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Sonia M. Roman, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Vita Gail Moore, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Simon. Oh, there you go. Simon.
Kathy T. Simon, Bachelor of Science in Communication.
Deborah Outlaw Kendrick, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Selena Michelle Stubbings, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
U.S. Army Specialist Ronaldo Prieto Jr., Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Rebecca Stewart, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Stephanie Ray, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
How do you say
Say no more.
U.S. Army Specialist Eris Chanel Taylor, Bachelor of Science in Communication.
Gigi Reitzel, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Tanisha Cherie Tipton, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Jershawn Roberts, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Holly Broder, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
U.S. Marine Sergeant Nancy Ruiz, Bachelor of Science in Communication.
Mary Beth Brown, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Erica Santiago, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Letitia Chappelle, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Tamika Satchel, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Rayshana Fox, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Shauna Stoddy, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Natalie Goza, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Amy Thomas, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Rebecca Heckenberger, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Allison Vasquez, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Lanika Jones, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Gwendolyn C. White, Bachelor of Science in Human Services.
Michelle Mabley, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Nikki Woods, Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Development.
Shakita Moore, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Brandy Chapman, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
James Rex, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Adita Bartler, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Tara Masseline, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Ashley Doster, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Olivia Smith, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Darian Dykstra, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Carolyn Warren, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Daneria Elliott, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Ishana Watson, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Bobby Jo Goldsboro, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Edie Wheeler, Associate of Applied Science in Early Childhood Development.
Latanya Griffin, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Are you ready? Christina Williams, Associate of Applied Sciences in Early Childhood Development.
U.S. Army veteran Victoria Hine, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Tamara Wilson, Associate of Applied Science in Human Services.
Cassandra Juarez, Associate of Applied Science and Early Childhood Development.
Tempest Renee Jr., Associate of Applied Science and Criminal Justice.
Sandra Manzon, Associate of Applied Science and Human Services.
Brittany Kelter, Associate of Applied Science and Criminal Justice.
Ashley McElroy, Associate of Applied Science and Human Services.
Rosnika Keys, Associate of Applied Science and Criminal Justice.
Brandon Moss, Associate of Applied Science and Human Services.
Camille Murray, Associate of Applied Science and Criminal Justice.
Jessica Reitz, Associate of Applied Science and Human Services.
U.S. Air Force Senior Airman Melanie Moore, Associate of Applied Science and Criminal Justice.
Victoria Jean Rucker Robertson, Associate of Applied Science and Human Services.
Megan Lehman, Associate of Applied Science and Criminal Justice.
Sierra Tisley, Associate of Applied Science and Human Services.
Lorelei Jarman, Associate of Applied Science and Criminal Justice.
Kashmir Wiggins, Associate of Applied Science and Early Childhood Development. Starla Williams, Associate of Applied Science and Human Services. U.S. Army Sergeant Terry Hodges, Associate of Applied Science and Criminal Justice.
Well, I guess you figured out we're almost done. Graduates, I encourage each of you to join our Alumni Association and consider being a mentor to future Kaplan University students. So now a few rules. During the recessional, graduates will file out of the auditorium following the faculty. Guests, please remain seated until the graduates have exited the auditorium. And family and friends, you can meet your graduates out in the lobby. And finally, I have the great honor of taking formal action to confer your degrees. On the recommendation of the faculty of Kaplan University, with the approval of the Board of Trustees, and by virtue of the power and authority vested in me by the state of Iowa, I confer upon each of you the associate's, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, or certificate, as you have been designated with all the rights, privileges, and obligations which pertain thereto, and of which your diploma shall forever be the testament. Associates and bachelor students. Associates and bachelors, it's time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present the 2016 graduating class of Kaplan University.